Hey guys, welcome to Series World. Today I'm going to explain an erotic thriller series called Dark Desire from 2022. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The 14th episode opens with a flashback of Giulietta trying on her wedding dress. As this is her mom's dress, it's a bit tall for her. A woman is fixing the dress for her. Giulietta is telling the woman how charismatic Dario is, and how they'll have a happy ending for sure. The woman gets up and smiles at her, and the woman turns out to be no one else but Lise. At present, Lise is being arrested as the police have found enough evidence against her. Esteban is also present on the scene. He tells Eugenia to keep an eye on the other perpetrator. In the police station, Lise is talking with her lawyer in French in front of Eugenia. Eugenia tells her lawyer that Lise can speak fluently in Spanish, but the lawyer denies her suggestion. So, Eugenia tells the lawyer to ask Lise why the phone that sent the last message to Giulietta was in her apartment. Meanwhile, Alma is telling Zoe how Lise murdered her own husband, and now the police are suspecting her of murdering Giulietta too. They found a lot of evidence that proves that not only Lise knew Giulietta, but she was also present at the bachelorette party. Zoe asks her about Dario's part in this. Alma is confused as to why Zoe still doubts him. Zoe explains that it'll be very hard for a woman to pick up another unconscious drugged woman and throw her off the roof. Alma suggests that it might be Dario's lookalike, but Zoe shrugs. Alma changes the topic and asks her to tell her about herself. Zoe sighs and tells her that it's a long story. The scene changes to Eugenia and Esteban as they are going through the evidence box. They find nothing that links Lise to the account in the Andorra bank. Eugenia explains that after Harrison Lawson deposited the money in Andorra, it was transformed into untraceable bitcoins. She also adds that Lise is not related to this transfer. Eugenia then finds a document containing information about a financial advisor named Mark Jennings. She asks whether Esteban knows him, but he has no clue either. But then they find a USB in the file containing information that gave major clues. The scene cuts to Inigo and Leonardo as they are discussing Lisa's arrest. Leonardo can't believe that it was not Dario, but Lise. Inigo asks Leonardo why he's talking like he knows Lise very well. Leonardo can't give a proper answer, but Inigo continues that he knows Lise very well. At the beginning, Lise and Alberto were a normal, polite couple. But after he got to know them more, he discovered the peculiar side of Lise. At first, he thought that maybe it was because she was an actress. But everything changed one night. That night, Lise invited Inigo to have dinner with them, but after reaching there, he came to know that Alberto was on a trip. After eating and drinking, Lise started making moves on him. She was able to seduce him and they made love. This was not the worst part. The worst part is that Alberto wasn't away on a trip. Rather, he was recording the whole thing on camera. Apparently, Lise being intimate with other men turned Alberto on. He also later used it to his advantage. 1 week later, Alberto sent Inigo a naked picture of Lise to pressure him to make him the executor of Dario's inheritance. That's when Inigo decided to live with his daughter in California. Before Inigo can finish, Leonardo gets up and breaks it to him that he has also slept with Lise. Lise came up to him, and they had a few drinks. Later, they ended up in his bed. He was pretty drunk, so he can't remember the details. Leonardo asks worriedly whether Lise has recorded their meeting too. Inigo isn't sure what to answer as anything is possible for Lise. Meanwhile, Dario is talking with someone in English saying he has deposited the money. The scene cuts to Esteban and Eugenia. Eugenia and Esteban discuss his faith for a bit. He then tells her that it all happened one night in New York. Esteban thanks Eugenia for helping him to get out of the prison in 1 year. Eugenia tells him there's no need to thank her as she just owed a favor to him. Without him, she would have been rotting in jail, convicted of homicide. Flashbacks show Esteban and Eugenia wearing black suits and black face masks, confronting a man at gunpoint. The man turned out to be one of Eugenia's rapists. Eugenia's corrupt dad let the rapists free to not get into a mess. Even though Esteban tells her not to shoot him, Eugenia can't resist taking revenge and shoots him in his man parts. The flashback ends, and Esteban is asking her whether she'll spend the night in the station. After getting confirmation, he leaves. But before leaving, he suggests Eugenia do the confrontation between Dario and Lise to know who is lying. The next day in the interrogation room, Eugenia shows Lise the pictures where Lise can be seen in Julietta's bachelorette party. She also shows her the call records of her phone and Julietta's phone. She further adds that Julietta's friend confirmed that Lise was the seamstress who brought Lise's wedding gown. Lise expresses that none of this proves that she murdered Giulietta. Eugenia asks Lise about her relationship with Dario. She simply replies that he's just his husband's nephew. Eugenia then brings in Dario. She tells Lise that Lise cheated on her husband with Dario. Dario denies her statement. He reveals that Lise didn't cheat and her husband knew about them too. He also sometimes watched and recorded them. Lise tells him that she knows he enjoyed it too, but Dario replies that he was underage, and they abused him. Eugenia then brings up Alberto's death certificate and questions Lise about it. She also asks her what relationship she has with the fake Dario. Lise is furious at Dario and asks what he has said to them, but her lawyer calms her down. Eugenia explains that the fake Dario was seen at the hotel and he also attacked Alma. Last time he was seen in front of Lisa's house when Dario was at the hotel. The fake Dario was shot too. Eugenia questions Lise how she is related to the bank account in Andorra. She shows her the file and the USB they got from the bank and asks her to tell them what she knows about Mark Jennings. Lise denies replying as nothing she says will matter. The scene changes to Eugenia, Alma, and Esteban talking about Lise in her office. Esteban gets a call from Gerardo telling him that he has information that can be useful to them. Esteban leaves the room to know the details. Jimenez enters the room and informs Eugenia that they have got information about Mark Jennings. He has crossed the border through Nuevo Laredo. He then gives Eugenia a copy of his border resident pass, which they got from Texas. Mark Jennings turns out to be none other than the fake Dario. Meanwhile, Esteban has gone to meet with Gerardo. After seeing him, Gerardo tries to run away from fear, but Esteban manages to catch him and calm him down. Esteban makes a deal with him and they go somewhere else to continue the talk. The scene cuts to Alma driving. She's thinking about Mark Jennings, gives a call to Dario and asks him to meet with her. Meanwhile, Eugenia is giving instructions to Mendoza to find out everything about Mark Jennings's border crossing. The scene changes back to Alma, who is in a corner of the hotel lobby. After Dario leaves the hotel, Alma gets on the elevator. She then sneaks into Dario's room while hiding behind a hotel staff. While the hotel staff is cleaning, she enters deeper inside the room and tells the hotel staff to come later, pretending to be a resident of the room. After the staff left, she started searching the whole room for any clue related to Mark Jennings. But before she can find anything, Dario enters the room. He asks her what she's doing there as they had agreed to meet in the park. Alma replies that she changed her mind and entered the room with the cleaning lady. Before Dario can question her more, she changes the topic. She explains that she came here because she didn't like how they ended things. Dario also expresses that it hurt him too, but what hurt him more was that she didn't trust him. Alma explains that even though she had doubts about the situation, she never had any doubts about how she felt about him. She requests him to fix things with her. They then start kissing and end up making love in bed. The scene changes to Esteban, who has gone to meet with Lise in prison. The scene changes back to Alma and Dario. While they are making love, Alma is thinking about everything that happened from the beginning. When Dario and Alma ran away the first time from police, he mentioned that he has a friend in Nuevo Laredo who will make them fake passports. This is also the place where the supposed fake Dario crossed the border. She also remembers that Lucinda drowned one of her babies, which solves the mystery of the two babies. The last and final proof was that when Alma came to the hotel to check if Dario had any gunshot wounds, he mentioned that Alma would believe anything Esteban said, but not him. But Alma never mentioned that Esteban was there when the shooting happened. Alma finally realizes that there was no fake Dario. It was always him. The episode ends with Alma pushing him away and telling him that now she knows it was always him who played games with them. To watch more explanations of these kinds of series, click on the videos on your screen. And don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.